Now I conclude my welcome address, and after this welcome address, I have to deliver another address. It is based on my personal experience as the Vice Chancellor, as well as a student in this university, as a lecturer in this university. The topic of my address is Buddhism for the healthy living of senior executive officers. During the short period of 15 minutes, the virtues of the Buddhist teaching will be explained by me after having practiced them seriously from 1990. The teachings of Lord Buddha should not be confined to our thought and imagination. Instead, it should be practiced avidly if we are to bear the fruits of this philosophy. The ultimate outcome being one reaching the state of enlightenment or Nibbana. The virtues of the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, are very well known to Buddhists all over Sri Lanka. These virtues are explained in the Gathas, Itipiso, Swakato and Supatipanna. Attaining these virtues through the conduct ourselves in the usual day-to-day activities of our monotonous lives may prove impossible. Instead, a radical change within us must facilitate this attainment. This process is very rigorous, cumbersome and serious. However, if one chooses to endure this hardship, they can be assured of attaining these virtues. However, as lay people, it is difficult for us to lead a life enriched with the qualities mentioned in the above Supatipanna Gatha or stanza, similar to the conduct of the Buddhist monk. Fortunately, there are a number of ways and means which prove to be valuable, helpful, productive and practical for lay people to embrace the teachings of the Lord Buddha. Senior executive officers of large institutions in particular can benefit immensely while leading a good life and maintaining a good well-being. Modern day senior executive officers are exposed to highly stressful environment now. A battle to remain viable in the highly competitive corporate environment while striving to achieve the objectives of the organization can cause severe mental burdens on such individuals. Moreover, heavy workloads, deliberate disruption in work routine, corruption and unwholesome activities in the institutes are some of the aspects that senior executive officers are exposed on a daily basis. In the process of striving for organizational efficiency, effectiveness, high performance, and high productivity in a highly competitive corporate setting, SEOs are driven through painstaking hardship to achieve institutional goals as set in their corporate plan. It would be quite easy to reach this ambitious goal if they access to abundant resources. However, the reality is quite the opposite, with human and physical resource scarcity creating unnecessary and unmanageable problems in the institute. Consequently, SCOs have to bear and solve all these institutional problems at the expense of their health and well-being. Why do we have mental stress? You might ask. It is because we have our ego and egocentric way of dealing with life. Ego and egocentric behavior creates a self-image within ourselves that inevitably lead to mental suffering. According to the Buddha's teaching, there is no permanent self or ego in reality. Permanent self or ego is an illusion, and because of this illusion or false vision, an individual is persuaded to think that there exists I, mine and myself as a permanent entity. Furthermore, SEOs also think and behave in this direction and try to maintain a weak self-image in general. False vision in oneself creates all sorts of problems, while true vision solves them. All the teachings of the Lord Buddha show us the vanity of the self and virtues of the non-self. The realization of the non-self is easier for Buddhist monks through insight or vipassana meditation, but it may be quite difficult for SEOs in his or her daily routine to be able to have such insight through these rigorous meditative practices that most Buddhist monks utilize. However, SEOs can observe Panchasila 5% daily and practice meditation wherever possible, which is extremely helpful to maintain a calm mind, thus enabling them to perform their jobs with the latest and with the wisdom. It is sometimes used as a way to break up periods of city meditation, giving the body a rest, but it frequently done as a meditation practice in its own right. This meditation technique is very pragmatic for the SEOs as it can be practiced within the daily routine of their hectic life. BFS SEOs varies according to their character and nature. Buddhist teaching provide different meditation techniques and according to the character and qualities of the person, the right meditation technique should be selected and practiced. Thereby one can achieve the desired goals with ease. Buddhism explains us that there is no permanent soul or person called I. I does not exist as a permanent entity. I is not real. I exist as an accepted truth, but there is no I in reality. Real nature of I is impermanent, suffering and no soul. We accept that I exist as a permanent entity and accordingly we develop our ego and maintain an egocentric behavior. By practicing insight meditation, we can realize the real nature of I and thereby we can reduce our ego and egocentric activity. This process really helps SEOs to maintain a very healthy and strong mind, enabling them to lead a life without mental strain. Therefore, Buddhist teachings can be practiced by CEOs if they want to have a healthy living while functioning all the difficult tasks assigned to them with no mental and physical strain. The research activities related to Vipassana meditation have been conducted in different countries. Some Indian researchers have studied the relationship between government administrative officers and Vipassana meditation. The following, I can show the table. I have a table here. In the table, in the graph, there are information and data and analysis and analytical data which shows us that there is a positive correlation between the Vipassana meditation and the positive development of the officers. I hope my brief speech gave you something deep to think about. Buddhist philosophy, when viewed outside the context of general religion, as in many other religions, can be applied to every facet of our lives in a pragmatic manner. This philosophy, when practiced eagerly, can be very effective not only within the confines of the working life, but also in the family life as well. Administrative officers, CEOs in particular, can benefit immensely from these teachings. Being able to deal with the hardships and stresses within a corporate setting is very degrading on the physical body, but if one learns to deal with these difficulties through the utilization of Buddhist teaching, he can overcome these obstacles in a less stressful manner that would ultimately lead to a more healthy and more enjoyable life. I just explained the experience I have gone through and experience I obtained through my practice related to Buddhist activities, the activities related to the Buddhism, and I hope that if one practice genuinely these things, there is no disease called mental stress or mental agonies in this world. Thank you very much.